What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Creativ Rise podcast. Funny location today. If you're not watching on YouTube, again, you're missing out. Get on YouTube, start watching this on YouTube. We're sitting in a 65 Mustang, about to take a cruise. We actually just wrapped up a shoot. We had a shoot for LaCroix today, which was really fun.
Sure did.
You killed it. Great job.
Thank you.
And we used this car and this car mount for the shoot. And we thought, we have to shoot a podcast in the next day or two. Why don't we shoot it while we're in this car? And we'll go for a little later afternoon, evening drive.
Little sunset drive with a little bit of a podcast.
Yeah, and we'll talk about something fun. So what are we talking about today, Christy? Oh, so we have Bogey here, our dog.
Oh yeah, if you hear him whining and crying.
Let's get on the road.
That is why. This episode, I'm really excited about. We are talking about 3 checklist things that we always do if we want to get a response from a client. If you are sending an email, you're sending a pitch, you're responding to an inquiry, these are like the 3 must-haves that I feel like a lot of creatives maybe don't do that. At one point, we didn't do either. And it really, really helps get a response out of the clients you want to talk to. So that's a little 3 checklist.
And just to be clear, this isn't just for pitches. This is for responses. As Christy said, it's responses. So this isn't just for when you're sending out a pitch. This is also for when if you're in the wedding space, when a bride, messages you or fills out your inquiry form. This is how do you actually write an email back? What are the 3 things you need to make sure are either in that email or you do when you send the email in order to have the highest possible chance of getting a response back?
Yeah.
Which is important.
It is.
And that is something we see creatives struggle with all the time. To be honest, probably one of the main things that people join the Creativ Rise Mastermind for, which is our 6-week program that really gives you a great 6-figure foundation for your business. One of the main reasons people join is because they struggle with getting responses.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, and I even can remember back when I was shooting weddings full time, I just remember being so frustrated of like, did they get my email? Did they even see it? Like, how can I know if they saw it? How do I know to follow up if I'm being annoying? I don't know what to say. Like, all of that kind of stuff comes from when you don't get a response. So I feel like this checklist is going to be, hopefully you'll find a tip or 2 that's super helpful that you can literally start implementing today, and it will help you get some responses. So Joey, give us a first checklist. What is one thing that we always do when we email or whatever our clients?
Yep. So checklist item number 1, when you're looking for a response from an email, the first thing you have to do is you got to make sure the email is actually structured to get a response. And what I mean by that is you've got to create value inside of the email. So one of the things that I did wrong when I was first starting out as a filmmaker a decade ago, when I started out pitching people or even just responding to people that would inquire with me, I would make the emails all about myself. And then the problem with that is they will point blank read the email, and if they're not interested in what I'm talking about, which is myself, if they're not interested in what I'm saying about myself, then they just won't respond. Maybe they'll just, go on to the next creative that they're potentially looking for when, getting quotes for a job. Making the email all about you is a mistake. And so the first thing that we always do when we are looking at emails to make sure we get a response is we make sure that the email actually is solution focused. It's problem and solution focused. Now, what does problem and solution focused mean? Here's an example. If a client reaches out to you, and let's say they own a construction company, and let's say the construction company just created this new beautiful model home, and they're looking for a creative who is going to help them, shoot the model home, get some really good content of it, so they can take that to social and start selling all the lots that they are going to be building more of their custom homes on. So let's say they reach out to me, and let's say that I make my email all about how many years I've been shooting, the type of equipment we're shooting on, what I'm excited about the shoot, why they should hire me. It's not a horrible thing, but it's not a great thing, because if I made my email about, hey, here's the opportunity I hear you guys talking about, wow, it would be incredible to sell out your entire lot of homes and build new custom homes because you're driving so much traffic from people seeing videos and envisioning themselves there. But there's a problem, you don't have any content right now, so here's what solving that content problem would look like. Here's how I can do that for you. Here's a quick solution. Why don't we jump on a call and talk about it? That is a problem. Wow, that was loud. Oh, it's a big grape back there. That was a problem solution focused email. I'm not just talking about myself, I'm talking about the actual problem and solution. So, Christy, what does this look like in the wedding space? Because this is something that I think we both see, especially when we're working with people in the mastermind, we both see wedding photographers do this wrong a lot.
Totally.
Brand photographers always do this wrong. Wedding photographers are no different. They do this wrong a lot of the time.
Well, and I used to do this so wrong. I feel like when I was, first starting out, first learning to email people back when they reached out to me, it would always be like, hey, and I think this is like a copy and paste of almost every wedding photographer's response ever is, hey, X, congratulations on your engagement. I'm so excited that you reached out to me about getting married. And then basically you jump into, here's my packages, here's my experience, let me know if you have any questions, maybe we can jump on a call. That's basically what all response emails look like, whereas a problem solution, their desire-focused response would be, hey, X, and then start off custom, start off personal. Be like, hey, Lisa, I saw first of all, stoked that you're getting married in the Bahamas. So excited for what you're going to be doing. I'm sure you want somebody who's going to be there not only to capture your day, but to also capture probably all the adventures that you and your significant other and your entire family and friends are going to have leading up to the wedding. And I'm sure it might be a stressor knowing that that may not be captured in the way you really want and that you don't want to miss out on those memories. So I just want to assure you that I'm so excited to give you some options of maybe working together and what this would look like for us to get you the best, most memorable time captured for your wedding. And just talk about the things that maybe they talked about in your inquiry form. And we've got a whole podcast about inquiry forms. If you want it, we'll have to look it up. We'll put it in the show notes about what to ask in an inquiry form so that you can actually have appropriate responses for people in an email. But talk about the desires that they have. Talk about maybe some of those pain points. Hey, I don't know, maybe you feel awkward in front of the camera. I just want to let you know that I really focus on a very organic, natural style. Like you can kind of even do some objections in an intro email as well, but talk about their desires. Don't just talk about what camera body you use or how much experience you have or where you've been published. Honestly, nobody really cares about that much. Save it for another time. But yeah, if you can focus on the response being something that's problem and desire focused for a wedding client, it just, oh my gosh, 10 out of 10, you will get a response back from somebody like that. Way more responses.
Yeah, so bottom line, guys, is first thing that is on our checklist to make sure that we're going to get a response back is we just don't make the emails about us. We make the emails about them.
All about them.
We make the emails about their problems, their solutions, their opportunity for growth or their opportunity for avoiding pain or achieving something great through working with us. We talk about that. We focus it on that, and we do not make ourselves the hero of the email because we're not. The hero of the email is the client. So that is number one.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting here thinking, man, that's like really helpful hearing how much Joey and Christy talk about how, everything is about solving problems in business. If you're thinking that way and you're going, but Joey, how do I know what to actually, say in an email that's going to be a problem or is going to be a solution? Well, I will say it's a muscle. You've got to learn how to understand what your client's problems are and provide a solution for that. It's a muscle. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. But if you want to fast track to that, we teach that a ton in the Creativ Rise 6-week mastermind, which is starting September 15th. That's coming up. So really excited about that. Quick little plug. If you want to see what the Creativ Rise Mastermind holds and if it could be really helpful for your business in 2024, it's designed to help teach you and help you implement a six-figure foundation for your creative business. If you're looking for ways to do that this year, this could be a great shortcut for you. Go to creativrise.com. You'll see everything there. You can read about it, see how it's been helpful for people that could be just like you. But other than that, just want to mention we talk about problem solving a ton in the mastermind. But let's move on to number 2. What is the second thing, Christy, that in order to get a response in an email, what's the second thing that we make sure we do or include in the email in order for us to actually get responses?
Yeah, so just like the traditional school system, or I guess just not like the traditional school system, you have to realize people have different learning styles. People have different information intake styles, so that if an email, which is all it is just words on a screen, barely any other visuals to communicate by, people may not like that. People may not actually be that interested in reading an email as much as they would maybe watching you talk to them visually about what you are trying to sell them. So if you can create a visually appealing form of communication to somebody, it's going to go, for most people, a lot longer than just a text on a screen. So this is not an ad because it's free, but Loom, we use Loom all the time. Joey, why don't you talk about Loom for a second? Because I feel like you're like a Loom artist. Like you really love Loom.
Yeah, I love Loom. So what Christy's saying is there's stereotypically or traditionally emails are only read one way, text-wise, right? I am someone that I would rather get a 30-second video from somebody explaining a whole email than to actually have to read a couple-minute email and process it. And that's just because my own personal ability to process words, by reading them versus processing words via hearing them. So I had this thought like years ago, what if I was to actually get people emails, but in video format? What would that look like? And so I started looking at that and I went, wow, I should use Loom. Loom is a very easy subscription software. We pay, I think, $10 a month for it. There's a free version. But with Loom, what I do is when I send an email, the top of the email will have like a personalized intro. So like, hey, if I was emailing Christy, hey, Christy, personalized introduction. So I'll say something like, I really love your brand. I'm excited to talk about what's in the content of this email. And then I'll say, hey, but quick, if you'd rather watch this email rather than read it, click here. And I'll attach a Loom link where I literally just click the record button on Loom. It records your computer screen and it records your video and your audio, and you can quickly just talk, and I will talk about what is in the email. A couple things are really important about this. Number one, for people who get more out of auditory styles of learning than they do reading, it's very helpful, because for someone like me reading the email, I might not process the information as well as if I actually just, had somebody telling me all the info. Two, it allows me to express my passion and my personality, which is very difficult to do in an email. We can all try our best with, words and lingo, but at the end of the day, an email is an email. It's a bunch of words, and it's never gonna stand in how you can express your personality via video. So I choose to go, hey, I choose to always make sure that I put my Loom videos in the top of my emails.
Just hyperlink it.
And I hyperlink it and just say, hey, it's right there. If you're someone who wants to read, you want to watch this email rather than read it, if that would be helpful, click on it. Now here's the best part. Not only does that help with me getting to express my personality, but the other thing is that Loom actually has a feature where when somebody opens that email and they click on that link, I can see the link's been clicked. So I no longer am sitting there in the wallows guessing, did that company get my email? I can see they actually clicked on the email.
Yeah.
And then because I can see they clicked on it, I can then make a decision on how quickly I should follow up, right? Hey, I saw you saw my video 2 days ago, but I haven't gotten a response from you. Wanted to bump this back up to the top of your inbox. Hope you're having a great day, right?
Yes.
It allows you to have context on if they've opened the email or not. So you can use something like Loom. You can use software like Boomerang that it's not video, but it tracks email clicks. So you can see if someone's opened your email, you can see if they click through to your website. That's also a free software. I think it's free for Gmail. I know a lot of people listening to the podcast use Gmail. So that's tip number 2, is use some type of software that allows you to understand if your email has been clicked, if your email's been opened, and even better, to use something like Loom, put it right at the top. Hey, if you'd rather listen and watch this email than read it, click right here, and then you can express your personality, which is a huge plus in having a client understand what working with you could look like.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of that.
Totally. And then tip number 3, and this one's honestly the most common sense one that I feel like
we don't do enough.
People don't do enough, because it really does it so well. I feel like this is my favorite checklist item because it's also so simple, is don't just hit someone up one way. Like if you get an inquiry and you respond via email and you're like, shoot, why haven't I heard back? Like, did it go to junk mail? Are they just not responding? You're just sitting in confusion of like, am I just getting ghosted? I will say email is I think there's never been a worse time for email. With the amount of filters in people's inboxes, the amount of stuff going to junk, like chances are maybe they didn't see it, right? And
it's never been harder to get an email.
Never been harder to get in contact with somebody via email.
The person you're actually trying to get in front of. Yeah, 100%.
So the checklist item number 3 is hit people up in 2 different ways, okay? So 2 different ways. So if you're responding via email, that's great. Send the email. However, make sure you also at the same time follow up in a different route of communication, whether that is you shoot them a DM on Instagram, whether that's you call their office, whether that's you send them a text if they gave you their phone number, whether that's you could walk into their store. I don't know. You just have a second
I've done that
form.
before. Hey,
Joey literally door-to-door salesman right here.
You walk into a store and you say, hey, I did that with a local outdoor store when I was like 15. So one of my first big retainer clients, I worked with them for a couple of years. It was a great relationship. And I literally walked into their store and said, hey, I sent you guys an email. I haven't heard back yet. I'm just wondering if, and I said the person's name is in.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, they're actually in the back. Let me go get them for you. And I had a full-on conversation.
Totally.
They never even saw their email. Why? Because they were busy.
Yes.
So you gotta always hit people in at least 2 forms of communication.
Yes.
We love email and Instagram when we're reaching out to brands.
That's my fave.
Or if you're responding to a bride who inquired with you for her wedding, make sure you go try and find her online, find her Instagram, email her back, and then hit her up on Instagram. Send her a voice note or a video. Hey, name, hey, Deborah, I just responded to your inquiry. Again, congratulations on your recent engagement, your wedding location, or your wedding date. It's gonna be a beautiful time of the year. I'd love to chat about being the person for your wedding. I just sent you an email. Let's set up a time to call.
Yeah, one of our recent mastermind grads, while he was in the 6-week mastermind, he was talking about, he's like, I feel like I'm just getting ghosted. Like, I feel like I'm not getting responses. And we're like, how about every single time you get an inquiry, you respond with your email, which is solid, but you also go and send a video message of yourself to the couple on Instagram and be like, he has so much personality. So we're like, use that to your advantage. So you'd send a video message going, hey, you guys, I'm so excited. And it's not like he recited his entire email. It's not like you need to copy and paste your email into an Instagram message. But it's, hey, I'm so excited. Express your personality. Talk about their pain point. Tell them that you sent them a message. Direct them to the place you want them to go. And then say, hey, can't wait to hear from you. I think he said it was something like, I don't even know. He was like, that basically solved my problem.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I have been getting response after response. And he goes, people are booking me because of that message. Yeah. So, you guys, if you are in that space at all, the intent is there. And it also just humanizes you compared to all the other people that are just, again,
emailing.
The black and white email, that you get to actually bring it to life, bring it to color, which is super cool. So that is our last checklist item, is make sure you are not just following up another way, but on the onset, you're sending 2 forms of communication when you are either responding or pitching. Gosh, that will just help you so much. So
100%.
Those are our 3 little checklists.
Yeah, those are our 3 little checklists. So hopefully that's really helpful. Again, just to remind
hopefully
you.
Hopefully you get car sick watching this.
The first one, the number one, the best way to make sure you're getting response is by making sure your email is actually valuable. How do you make an email valuable? You make it centered around them and their opportunity for growth, their problems and their solutions that could allow them to actually grow. You don't make the email about you. Number 2, use some type of software in your emails that allow you to see if an email has been clicked. Or even better, use software that allows you to see if an email has been clicked, but at the same time, it's allowing you to express yourself and express the email via video, something like Loom. I love doing that. Number 3, make sure that you're hitting them in multiple places. Never just send one email, or don't just send one DM, right? Hit them on email and DM, or hit them on DM and on Twitter DMs. Like, make sure you're hitting your prospects, whether it's cold pitching or it's a response to an email that they reached out to you with. Make sure you're hitting them with variety. It shows intent. It shows that you really want to have a conversation with them. It shows them that you're serious about actually helping them. The best way, guys, to never ever get a response from somebody is by sending them a message once and never sending them on another platform or in a different format of communication, and never even following up. If I owned a brand and creatives were pitching me, I would just ghost them for their first email just to see who would send a second email, because the second somebody sends a second email, I know that they're actually paying attention to whether I'm opening them or not. Therefore, they're paying attention to wanting to work with me. Or if they never send me another email, well, I know, oh, they didn't really care about working with me that much in the first place, right? It's all about intent. You gotta put in the numbers, put in the reps. It's all about intent. So those are our 3 tips. Hopefully that's super helpful. If you wanna learn more about anything around the idea of pitching or getting more jobs, this conversation is kind of sales-like, what it looks like to get better at sales as a creative. Well, another great place to do that is the Creativ Rise Mastermind. So excited, it's coming up. September 15th we start. We only take about 30 spots every single time we do this, and the reason why is because we had more than 35-ish businesses come into that. It can get too hectic, and at the end of the day, we're not able to engineer the results that you're coming in for. So if you're wondering what it is, it's 6 weeks of business growth for your business. It's not creative growth, it's strictly about business, because the reality is, once your creative gets to a certain level, the only predictor on whether you're gonna make money from that point out, once your creative is good, is how you understand how to productize your creative passions and actually turn them into a business product to sell to the marketplace. And so that's what we help you do in the Creativ Rise Mastermind. We only take 30 to 35 businesses every time we do it. It is an absolute blast, 6 weeks purely focused on your business. To give you a 6-figure foundation for your business, which is an awesome thing. So fun.
It's awesome. We're so excited. Joey and I are like hands on. This is like a high touch thing. So if you're someone who's like, oh, I'm just looking for like a little, course to like boost me, or like, oh, like I just want to take my hobby to like a little bit of the next level, we'd say don't apply. Like, this isn't for you. This is for someone who's like, you know what, I'm ready to take this hobby, or I'm ready to take my full-time business and really scale it. Like, I want to give it all I got. And so if that's you, we would love to chat with you. If I'm sure you've got a bunch of questions as well. There's a bunch answered on our homepage, but if you've got more questions than that, we would love to chat with you. So if you want to shoot us a DM on Creativ Rise, we'd love to chat with you. It's literally Joey and I responding there. And so we'd love to answer any questions. Or personal accounts, whatever you want to do.
Or hit us on both if you really want our attention. Hit us on 2 platforms, right,
Really
guys?
Hit that checklist.
That's what we're talking about,
Send us a loom.
That's what we're talking about. Seriously, if somebody sent me a loom, I'd love that. I love getting looms because it's so easy to understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
True.
So other than that, guys, we always got a bunch of free stuff too. We talked about it in the last couple of weeks, but we just came out with 2 new workshops on pricing in both the wedding and the brand space. So if you want to get your hands in that, if you have not yet, go to creativrise.com/brand pricing workshop. And if you want me to teach you how to price yourself as a brand photographer, if you want Christy to teach you how to price yourself as a wedding photographer, go to creativrise.com/wedding pricing workshop. All those links are in the description of every podcast. But hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you enjoyed this little car pod, this little car episode. I'm so glad the camera did not fall off.
Reminds me of carpool karaoke.
Yeah, it does. Bogey,
too bad we don't have.
Little puppy, is asleep. So hopefully you did not fall asleep the same way Bogey
or
fell
get
asleep.
car sick. Honestly, I don't get car sick, but I was like, if I'm looking at this camera right now, I'm like, it could happen. Gosh.
Anyways,
okay.
guys,
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we're just sold out on helping you guys crush 2024. And the way you're going to do that is by focusing on the business stuff. So we're glad you're listening to the podcast. We're glad you're taking the next steps and implementing what you're learning on the podcast. Take the next steps and all the free stuff we got. Those pricing workshops, we got a bunch of other free stuff. If you haven't had the access to the Creativ Rise pricing calculator yet too, make sure you get that. That's down in the description of the podcast too. That's totally free. But yeah, hope you guys are having a great week. Hope you guys can stay focused this week, get all jacked up to kill it this week. And yeah, we'll catch you next week. We got a couple really fun episodes coming up that we're really excited about. They will not be in a Mustang, in a 65 Mustang. So enjoy it while it lasts. It's another about 2 seconds of this podcast.
We're enjoying it while it lasts.
But we'll get you guys next week. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys.